Lion face. Ah! Lemon face. Ooh! Lion face. Ah! Lemon face. Ooh. I'm warmed up now.
Free cake! Free cake! No cake. No cake. That's my warm-up. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't
You're all
touch me.
excited? Hot and bothered?
Huh?
This is staying in.
That's the thing.
thing?
Free cake. Free cake.
No
No
cake.
cake.
No
No
cake.
cake.
That's how you
Sad.
center yourself.
That's
before
how I center myself. I center myself by going.
range of
I go
emotion
to
right
free
there.
cake, which is like cloud nine,
Epitome.
and then I go
Yeah.
to no cake, which
No
is
cake, and then
Hell.
the
yes,
seventh circle of hell.
basically.
Yes,
That's
yes, my young lord.
and yes,
Free
my
cake.
Free cake. Free cake. No cake. No cake.
Do it with an English accent.
Free cake. Free cake. No cake. No cake.
What's up, everybody? It's that anime show episode.
Episode 13.
11D.
1100.
I'm Terri Doty. You hear that guy?
Fucking know who we are.
You should know.
If you don't, then read the webpage you downloaded this from.
Unless it wasn't that anime show, then shame on you.
Then for all you know, I could be our guest and our guest could be me.
If you were our guest, you have quite the range. I mean, you do, but
I'm not that good.
no. We have Kristi Kang.
Hello.
It's so hard not to say your main name because, like,
I know.
I'm like,
Kristi Bang!
Kristi Bang!
Kristi Bang! Oh, they're gonna start calling you
Well,
that
I
now.
also have a
Kristi
friend
Bang Bang.
named Kristi Yang. So I'm like, you had to do this to me. Why are you getting married? God.
Gang,
I just like
Kristi
to
Gang.
complicate your life, Terry. That's what I'm
It's
here
all
for.
about me, really.
Truly it is.
But welcome, my dear.
Thank you.
There you go. I'm so happy you're here.
I am as well.
It was just an excuse to get you to come over and
I
bring me
know.
delicious
And bring you
chocolate.
Holy
Ganaches.
shit, those are amazing.
I'm pretty proud of myself.
You
I'm
ought
not
to
gonna lie.
be. You
I
ought
know,
to be.
I know.
Normally, I'd be like,
So
"Don't let it go to your
if
head."
this
sweetie. It's
yoga
just
and
food.
voice
But
acting
you know
thing
what?
doesn't work out,
They're like.
Then I've got my
cold-
dark chocolate ganache brownies.
They're okay.
those.
I have to describe them. They are cold.
That's the most important
They're
part.
cold.
Really.
They're chilled.
They have to be cold.
They're not like hard cold because they're
Straight out
still
of the
very
fridge.
moist and
I
chewy.
don't really
but
like
they're
room temp
chewy.
chocolate or
They're chewy and they're like they're really more like fudge when you describe them.
Yeah, they're
more like
fudgy. They're
not
it's
fudge.
cakey
Yeah.
fudge. It's kind of cakey fudge.
Cudge.
Free cudge. Free cudge.
No
cudge.
well remembered. So I guess we're just catching up on stuff because like Justin's episode and Tyson's were like a couple weeks apart, and then it was Tyson a month and a half off Kristi. Which I'm like, do you want to do this date or this date? She's like, 13. I like that number. She's like, or whatever. I'm like, no, let's do 13. Okay.
Shit, you're lucky you got me out of the house today. It's the 13th.
Today's Colleen's birthday.
Happy birthday, Colleen.
Happy birthday, Colleen.
Happy birthday. It's so funny. I'm like, happy birthday, Colleen, on my Facebook page, and someone went, enjoy her birthday. I'm like,
You know, I will. Thank you.
if you're listening, like, I found that hilarious, but it was just like an odd thing to
Enjoy her
say to me.
birthday.
Enjoy
Kind
her
of nice, though. It's like, you know what? I know it's someone else's birthday, but you should enjoy
Might
it
as
too.
well. Why not?
It's a nice thing. Why not? It can still be
I'm
your
going to say
day.
the same thing about the 13th. I mean, like, why not? Enjoy your 13th.
Because it's an evil day. Not really.
Is it?
Not
Full of
really.
beauty and joy.
I think
Not really.
13's a lucky number.
That's what I think, too. I choose to believe it, and
You're just
therefore
being
it is.
ironic, huh? You're being like superstitious hipsters.
No. No. I love like would you consider like your vibe hipster? I'm like, I consider it Terry.
Which is a very hipster thing to say.
Is it? No, but
I don't even
no,
know what a
who's my
hipster is besides someone
my
that,
uncle
like,
or
has a
something
beard
at the
and-
wedding I went to. They're like, you and Steven just look very hipster. I'm like,
What is a hipster?
Basically, a hipster is someone who has a beard or an ironic mustache. Basically, someone you would not want to leave your children alone with.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
If you've ever seen-
that's my yardstick.
That's one of the reasons I love Portlandia with Fred Armisen and Carrie Brownstein, who's in Sleater Kinney. And they kind of make fun of the hipster culture, but
Put a bird on it.
Think about put a bird on it. I love that. My favorite skit is still the cacao skit. Cacao to cacao. Like the safety word is cacao. But cacao. No, stop touching cacao. cacao. But it's think about like Portland, Oregon, like that or like for us, Austin, that keep Austin weird. Like that's kind of hipster. Like
if they don't get nuked by the crazy dictator over there in North Korea. I think that's hilarious that was one of his. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? What's his name? Kim Jong-un, right? It's the son of Kim Jong-il.
Sure.
And is like, talking about, we're going to nuke someplace. And
he gave a list of places he was going to nuke.
And one of them was Austin, Texas.
It was like D.C., Dallas, Texas, all these, and then Austin, Texas.
I think it was Washington. It was, I think, L.A.
I don't.
And then Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Apparently, he just really doesn't
like
South
by Southwest. That was just the odd one. I even read an article in the Observer. They're like, did anyone else find that weird? Like, out of all the places to name, but it was weird. I have a cousin who's in South Korea right now, and my grandmother and my family are going crazy. She's like, we're fine. I think everybody that isn't in Korea is the one that's freaking out. But you're the 20th person to message me. I'm fine. But it is weird. It is very weird.
Yeah. It's very strange, but it's just kind of, they're like well, I shouldn't say they, just he, the dictator, is very much like, I'm gonna prove myself to the world.
It's probably how he talks.
It's probably exactly how he talks. Kind of looks like he would talk that way. But I don't know, I just think it's funny because they don't have the technology to send a missile farther than a block. Right now,
it's block and a half.
Really, maybe a block
give
and a half.
Give him some credit.
Yeah, but it just makes. I'm like, why Austin, Texas? Like, did you make an independent film years ago that South by Southwest refused to consider, and now you're like going to get them back?
They didn't even get back to him.
They didn't get back to him. Like, sorry, we'll call you. Damn it! I just think it's. I don't know. I'm one of my.
So weird.
I find dictators fascinating, especially dictators that live in this kind of hyperbolic bubble of just every aspect of the culture is controlled. They have no external influences coming in, so it is just he lives in this this country of sycophants.
I don't know anything about it. Like, of course, like I don't like talking about politics. So just like no, we can argue about something else. Let's fucking.
I don't think there's anything to argue about here. I think we can all agree that's pretty zany.
Yeah. But it's kooky.
It's very kooky. But I'm fascinated by kooky dictators and the things they will do.
Kooky dictators that fall on Fox.
I'm going to dress in this Victorian style men's robe, like the one I was talking about earlier, with like gold tassels and quilted with like peacock feathers pinned to it, and
love it.
And a brocade. And
I've taken a puff of the cigarette. I need a new cigarette.
I have ashed once from this black clove cigarette.
I need a new one. Refresh me, please.
I'm going to wear this with a non-ironic fez, which is ironic.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, hipsters.
I was confused at first because first you were saying that Terry and Steven were hipsterish, and then you mentioned the whole beard mustache thing. I was a little confused because I've never actually seen you in your beard.
Well, no, I am a beard. Steven's very gay.
It's true.
Very gay.
It's not true.
No. Tatum's like, I wish he was gay. No.
You'd be a very bad beard. You're too high maintenance.
I know. Well, isn't every beard really?
No,
really?
That's the whole thing. A beard can't be high maintenance because you're kind of already on the losing side of that equation, so you don't have a lot of leverage.
So the least you can do is fucking hook a sister up. You know what? I'm doing you a solid.
Well, it depends. I guess it depends.
Solid.
It depends on whether or not we're talking about a self-conscious beard, like a beard who knows she's a beard, or a beard who's like a beard, a sentient beard, or
that's going to be my next musical,
or a beard that really doesn't know that
time to
she
shave
or he's a beard. When it's like one of those, well, no, my husband's not gay. He just really likes the company of other men.
Or like we've made it no secret. We've made it no secret that and especially when we did our It Gets Better video, Steven's dad is gay, but him and his mother are best friends, so they're still married, but like they're just best friends because that's that old school like. No, we made a commitment to each other, but like, did you know? She's like, yeah, I knew. Yeah. Judy ain't no fool.
So the thing is, that if it's a woman being the trophy wife or the trophy girlfriend for a man that doesn't want to come out of the closet as gay, then she's a beard.
We're still not answering the hipster question.
Well, no, this will all tie in. I promise you.
I trust you.
At the very end, I will have a definition of hipster for you.
Okay, George Lucas. It's like, it's all going to tie in.
Oh, no, don't. No, George Lucas doesn't tie anything in. He just repeats himself. And then this person is this person's father. All right, and he's also this father. And I'm just going to tell the same story 5 goddamn times. With different characters playing all the roles.
Totally were supposed to be brother and sister from the beginning. Totally.
Totally. That
really,
was not
that
pulled out
case
of his
proves
ass.
otherwise.
No, but I think we should start calling, and maybe we already have. Maybe I'm late to this party. I don't know, but I think a lesbian who has the equivalent of a trophy husband or boyfriend, we should call those men merkins.
I came up with that.
Okay,
said that before.
Okay. I want to make sure. I just like that. What do you feel about this, merkin?
Which is a vagina wig.
A vagina wig.
I personally love vagina wigs, and I think that any man in that situation would probably be honored to have that title.
I'm her merkin.
I would.
So hipsters.
He is working American.
We should hasten to add that Steven is not actually gay. Steven is not actually gay.
No,
let's
Steven's
not start
not
that
gay.
because some people out there listening just don't
No,
have
please
trouble
don't
with
change
irony.
my Wikipedia, which I love. Like, I never know. They're like, hey, just so you know, Jamie Marquis your wife on Wikipedia. I'm like, okay. By the time you tell me that, someone's fixed it, so I never get to see it. So take a photo.
Wait, was that true? Did that happen?
Jamie,
I mean, not her being your wife, but being on Wikipedia.
You were out of for a little while.
Okay, 2008 was a different time, Kristi.
Yeah, I know. It was
going through a lot of shit. I
was going through a lot, and
the housing market collapsed. It just made me really think about myself.
Raven-haired beauty walked into the booth, and I went, "Oh crap, I'm gonna marry her."
That's funny because Jamie Marquis turned me straight for a week. And
then we
didn't do anything. I mean, she didn't even know that it happened because I was just like, I met her for the first time back in, I guess, 2006, and thought, I've arrived at this decision rather hastily, being gay. I've only spent 15 years of my life.
There are a lot of friends of ours that you've done that with. Like we saw.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying to compliment Jamie, and now she's going to hear this and be like, "Oh, thanks, Tatum. I thought I was the only one."
No, I'm saying we have a lot of hot friends. That's what I'm saying.
We do. Hot people are drawn to us.
We went to go see Stephanie's band perform. Stephanie and David's band.
The Stephanie's I
think it was just a duet of them. And Stephanie was singing, and it was really loud. It was very busy, and you just went and leaned into Joshua and went, "You are so lucky I'm gay," and like stared at Stephanie. Like, I'm like, Tatum.
You are so lucky I'm gay for the next 5 minutes at least. You got 5 minutes for this new straight thing kicks in, and I'm not going to be able to control myself around Stephanie Young anymore. I'm so sorry.
Well, then there's hot chicks like Kristi Bingham, which,
Who's she?
You can do Kristi Kang. I can beep it. It's Bingham. I used to say Bingham, but now it's Kang. Or Kangham. It's Kangham now.
Kangham. Or Kang the Conqueror.
I like Bang. I like Bang.
Kang Bang.
Kang
Bang.
Kang Bang. But no, anyway, to hipsters. Yeah. Homeless people with money. There you go.
All right. I'm with you.
They live like hobos.
I think it's
Although hipsters in Texas are really funny. I'm like, okay, you can't wear a fucking beanie in Texas, man. Like, you need,
they try so hard. I think hipsters are, I think, they try so hard to be ironic that they end up kind of eating themselves. It's kind of like, they're just like, I'm going to be so ironic that it just becomes true. Everything they do, like every piece of clothing they wear, every hairstyle is kind of, they're like,
it's for the sake of irony.
It's for the sake of just to be looked at and people go, yeah, can you believe people actually would wear their hair like this? Is sort of, it's like any TLC show.
Like, if you ever want to
people watch it so they can say, oh my God, nobody watches this.
and yet
they're all watching it. That's exactly kind of what.
Okay.
Well, if you ever want to piss Steven off, because, we have chickens, we're about to have bees, we have gardens, and we do the organic thing, and now we're doing the, making our own soaps and stuff. They're like, you guys are so hipster, and Steven's like, fuck you. He gets really pissed. It's like, I'm not a hipster. I'm just someone who, oh God, what was the thing? He's like, I love that I'm considered a hipster because I give a shit.
Well, that's the opposite of hipster, isn't it? Hipsters don't give a shit. No. They're just like, if they give a shit, it's only to make fun of people who do give a shit.
Look at these bifocals. They're totally going to fuck up my vision, but I'm going to wear them.
Yeah.
It's going to be so ironic because these are like grandma glasses.
I'm totally going to wear this creepy-ass beard and have a family of birds in it because it's disgusting. And I'm really just making a comment on people that would do this. can you believe people would wear their beards like this and not be ironic? Oh my god! You're like, well, how?
I'm gonna put
from
a
where I'm
bird
standing,
on.
it doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. You still look disgusting.
I do want to put birds on things, but like taxidermied birds or something.
That is so
Actual
hipster.
dead stuffed
When
birds.
you start see that
I
here's
put a bird on it.
but here's
Say it all
Get it?
threatening.
but here's the tender trap, my dear. If you start making fun of hipsters, you
Damn
become
it.
so uber hipster that you've gone full circle, and you become
make me their
the
queen.
snake eating its own tail. You
my
become like,
gosh.
oh my god, you are the evolved hipster
No.
at that
the
point.
master queen.
I would like to
No,
point out that you are wearing an Alamo T-shirt,
It
which
was
is
$1.
kind of strange since you are half Mexican.
I remember it. I remember it well. I remember it well.
The last time I went to the Alamo, which was a couple of years ago, I was in San Antonio for a convention.
San
And,
Antonio, Texas.
when you say that, you have your shirt on. It's too much. You are a hipster. You are a hipster. I can trap you now anywhere in public by just getting a box with string and a ruler and like making sure the trap is filled with like.
Have a cassette just that I can listen to ironically.
Well, no, it'll be like a cassette tape of, say,
doing that
Erasure.
for my yoga
It'll be
fits. I need a cassette.
tape, a cassette tape of Erasure, some broken glasses,
Erasure.
and a can of Tab.
I hear you calling.
And
Oh, baby, please.
and leading to the trap will be an ironic trail of now or laters.
Oh, God. That's where you would lose me. I go, no, now, no later. Now and never.
All right, gummy vitamins. How about that? Gummy vitamins? Flintstone vitamins?
No. Scott.
Fruity
No,
Pebbles?
those aren't good for you.
Aloe vera
There you
juice
go.
trail.
Or an
river?
aloe vera plant, so I can be like, oh, man, I cut myself.
I'm
I'll
just
go into
gonna
my
rub
garden.
some of my aloe vera on. You know, I'd actually really like to have an aloe vera plant.
We have one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Can I like take a piece of it and grow one, or do I actually have to?
Oh my god,
No,
this,
you
oh my,
can do
this
that
is
with
so true.
rosemary.
San Antonio. Okay,
You
this
can?
happened in San Antonio. This was when I was with Brian Massey at this convention. It was I think Massey's
that's
first
when he did it.
convention.
Yeah.
He got a paper
Stay in
cut.
Japan.
And yeah, it was, and no big deal. It's a paper cut, but
Yeah.
you know it doesn't go away. So he had this paper cut, and then like reached into a bag of really spicy chips, like that were these little Japanese snacks they had in the green
'Cause
room.
he's pretty,
and he
but-
was like, "Oh my god, this is fucking killing me now!" Like he was in. Shut up.
Nasty.
Shut up. That's not a very good Massey, but you get the idea. And so, and 30 minutes later before a panel, he was still like licking his finger. Oh my god, this fucking hurts. I can't. Oh, I'm such an idiot. And we were outside, and they had these wonderful, huge aloe vera plants, and I'm like, Massey, come here. And he said, "What are you gonna do?" And I just broke off a tip
gonna kiss
and put
you.
some aloe on him. And I swear to God,
better.
doing this thing, he thought I was fucking Merlin. He was like, "Holy shit!" And he'd tell everyone, like the rest of the con, he's like, "Yeah, Tatum's like a fucking wizard." This is not a good Massey. Okay, shut up. I can't do. No one can do Massey but Massey. So why even bother? I just kind of sound like the guy that pumps my gas. There is no guy. that-
You have a gas pumper? Wow.
In 2013,
He's a hipster.
I'm doing
he
it
does it
ironically.
ironically.
I don't even work here.
Dude, I don't even work here, and this isn't my real voice. This is me trying to do Brian Massey. Oh, you know him. But yeah, Massey was so amazed that I just knew what plant to go to and do this. And I'm like, I don't know much about plants. I just happen to know that you can do that with an aloe vera
Yeah,
plant. But he
yeah.
thought I was fucking Survivor Man.
The one thing you know, like suddenly they're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, that's all I know. That my knowledge of things useful begins and ends with the aloe vera plant. And
I
all
love
that
doing
thing,
things like
so.
that, though. You're just like,
But for that brief moment in time, I impressed a lot of people.
It's like my ganache brownies. I don't really cook, but that one thing allows me to be that girl.
oh my God.
You
If
could
you had had those
ride
at
that
your,
gravy train
I
for
can
the rest of your
totally.
life.
I'm gonna.
if you'd
Yeah.
had those at your couple shower, I don't think anything else would have been eaten.
That's true.
Oh, we had our couple shower here. Actually, I think I had a show the next day with like Alexis, and we were just like dorking out about it.
Aw.
Yeah, going like, oh, Kristi and J, oh, and just
Yay, love.
being
Didn't
nerds.
understand a thing you just said.
You're not supposed to. You suck
all I
at
heard.
impressions.
Hey, I was-
No,
Yeah,
I think you're fine if you go back and listen to this. That was pretty dead on. That was pretty dead on.
No, me and Alexis talking because Alexis has got that like, oh my God, caramel kisses. They're like they're caramel Hershey's Kisses. What are you saying? Come here, kissy.
This happens all the time. I have, you know this. You've known her for
She's
a long time.
known
There's
me
a
longer
history.
than you, good sir.
There's a history. I'm so sorry.
Although
it's a hard life, but
that was funny. Like Steven started working at Funny, and I was kind of there here and there, but I wasn't. I think I was directing there at that point, but we hadn't run into each other.
Oh yeah, no, it was totally random. Like, Terri, what are you doing here?
But he was like Kristi and I
here.
have known each other. Like, whoa, we're the same age, right? Rough.
Yes, within a few days, actually.
That's right.
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
March 24th.
Woo, that's
and
right.
You're April 4th. Okay.
Yes, that was an awesome birthday. I hope you had an awesome birthday.
I did indeed, actually. It was very relaxing, which I enjoyed.
That's good then. God, I need a tissue. My boy.
You need a tissue?
I have an issue.
I can go get you a tissue. Keep talking and just distract them. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Tissue.
I'll be right back, folks. I'm going to go get Terri a tissue.
Well, I don't want to be like or anything.
You should totally do that.
No one would judge you if you snotted in your sleeve.
Because I saw them. They're out here on the table.
They're on the tabla.
I know.
La mesa.
I'm just checking my
But no,
archives.
well, we've known each other at least a decade. Like a decade.
Yeah, we have actually, because the magical days of hanging out at the coffee house and not drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Were
Or drinking
moons
one
ago.
thing of coffee and just chain smoking the rest of the time.
I couldn't find tissues, but I did find this lovely conch shell. Why don't you try that?
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I like that shell.
But Steven was talking about this chick that had this. You have this really cool tattoo that's made up of music notes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And he's like, yeah, no, she had this really cool, like, and it looks like a bird.
Yeah, it's a bird made up of musical symbols, like a forte and
Super cool.
Do you want to see it? Here, I'll show you all. Look.
Yeah, do it. Show Tatum.
See? Little birdie. Can you see? Put a bird
I love
on
that.
it.
That's actually
Put a bird on it.
She put a bird on.
I did put a bird
You're a
on
hipster. Oh my god, we just revealed Kristi Kang to be a hipster.
At the end of this movie, we all turn out to be hipsters. It's what a twist.
We're all Kaiser Sose. No, I was just going to the
Kaiser Soze
bathroom
is
because what
made
sucks
of
about
people.
the actor side of Funny is that there's only one girl bathroom and only one guy bathroom. So
Yeah.
I'd like walk to the bathroom as Kristi was walking to the bathroom, and I saw her, and I'm like, "Hey, Kristi." I haven't seen you in like 5 years, and I'm like, "Hey, Kristi." I'm like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" Steven's like, "What are you talking about?" We know each other intimately. Not
Yeah,
really.
we don't. Well,
No.
I mean,
there was that one.
there
party.
were more than one.
There was that whole
I'm
month
just
of March
saying,
that was
I
an
mean,
entire party.
There was the year of party.
No, okay, having like a bunch of 18-year-olds hang out, and for some reason we had a friend of a friend, like one friend's parents were gone 1 week, and then right after their parents came back, another friend's parents left for like 2 weeks. And it all just happened, and so it's like, okay, we're not going to have parties here anymore. We're going to have parties
We
here
just
now.
basically moved to the next house and lived there for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Party Central has relocated. Please join us at our new location.
It's not
No
even
more
a joke.
Arlington. Go to Keller. Go to Keller now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not driving to Keller. Yes, you are. Because no
You
parents
won't
are
have
there.
to leave. Ever.
But yeah, so it's really surreal to see Kristi. And now, I've directed her in things. It's just odd. It's funny now.
Weird.
But yeah, like.
So how long have you known each other?
More than a decade.
Yeah.
So,
That's like a long time.
but we lost contact because she's really good friends with Brina too, and so Brina and I threw her a couple shower, and so we met up to have what you've been married 2
2 years.
2 years
Yeah.
now, 2 years like in
March 8th. You're so good with dates. Look at you.
I am sometimes
Whatever, you're doing all the work for her. She's like,
March 8th, you're so good.
she's like,
look at you.
March 8th, She's like,
to
she's
give
over
people
John
that
Edwards
credit,
singing.
you know.
Was it a P? A P? I'm thinking a
Was it
P.
a P? I think I'm
Does he
hearing a
know
P.
someone
I'm
that
hearing a
like
P.
maybe has a name that starts with a P? An
So
R,
this is
an
how
S.
this works. Dead relatives can only give me letters.
There's an S in it. Huh?
There's an S in it. There's a vowel. There's a vowel. I'm
There's
sensing
definitely
a vowel.
At least two of them.
At least
Yeah.
2, or maybe 1. It's I don't know.
It comes and goes. The gift.
But Brina and I established that at one point, like, Brina and I probably met at one of those parties, and, like, we probably hated each other. Probably. I don't know, but
that's
funny
most people's reactions to both of you.
Both of us,
so
yeah.
It's only natural if you would hate each other.
That was my reaction.
Well, it's so...
Just like seething hatred.
Oh, God.
Absolute
Terry's
God. Who the
Funimation.
fuck is this
Shit.
bitch? And now 15. Oh, great. I thought the room
I
got
thought
colder.
this part of my life was over.
So there are a lot of like old coffee house, because we used to hang out at this coffee house that's no longer there in Arlington. It was in Lincoln Square. Which they're like, you're barely making your rent, and the Cowboy Stadium's about to be here, so we're gonna raise your rent and get all you fucking kids that are only buying one cup of coffee out of Lincoln Square.
Yeah.
But we grew up in Arlington, so there wasn't a lot to do. So it's just hang out at a coffee shop, maybe work there, and just take your whatever you made that day out of the register. Otherwise, your check will bounce. Or get paid in bagels.
Bagels and coffee beans.
Bagels, chain smoking, and maybe coffee.
And mono.
That's how we all kind of met, but
Yeah.
someone was like, why don't we all like hang out like that anymore? I'm like, because I don't think it was healthy for us to hang out as long as most of us did. I'm kind of happy it closed. But it's
Who
nice
knows
to
where
see
we would have ended up had that kept going.
Oh, God.
It's like the people that never quite grow out of their Denny's nightly thing, or like, because I used to be part of that thing. We'd
It was
meet at
IHOP
Denny's,
for me, but
or
I'm
IHOP.
totally
It
with
depends
you.
on who's close. It was one of the two.
Waffle House.
Yeah, with the waitresses.
Awful waffle.
No tea either. Can I fill up your coffee?
The waitresses that look like pale pink catfishes.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yes.
you know them.
Well, I think that's
I love
every
that you did this like
every greases. Like you were doing like Predator edibles.
They were terrifying, though. It's true. That's why it was IHOP for me and not Awful Waffle.
I hope they were nicer about you staying there for 5 hours and only having coffee.
And cigarettes,
IHOP,
but-
which was on the other side of the Metroplex where I grew up, our IHOP, our waitresses and waiters looked like Cenobites. They were like they're very
We have
frightening.
such sights to
we
show
have,
you.
We have such specials to show you.
You know what? I'm good with coffee. I'm good with coffee.
Your chocolate chip pancakes.
But yeah, the Denny's thing, like, I have nothing to do, so I'm just going to hang out at Denny's.
We do that, and we were all you know, damn the man against society.
We're gonna go talk philosophy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. We're
with the two books
and
that
by
I've read
philosophy,
on it.
and by
That were
philosophy,
mandatory reading.
and by philosophy, we mean we're gonna talk Nietzsche and Wiccan. Like that's it. We're gonna talk about that
Go back
shit.
home to my efficiency with my
Or my parents. Gonna go back home to my parents' house and pay
With my
off my
Klimt
scholarships. By this job, I work at a restaurant run by a crazy Italian man.
Italian.
Terry, did you ever go to the Pit Grill? Do you remember that? The armpit of the world? It was right down the street from the coffee
Yes,
house.
no, the pit is still open.
It's still,
Is it
it is still
really?
there.
The pit. We just
There
called
were
it the pit.
floaties in the cream. Like, they never changed the cream, so it was, like, all curdled and creepy. But for some reason, we still went and used the cream. Like, I don't know what...
See, that,
We were
by
on.
the way, was the birth of hipster culture. You'd go to these places because they were disgusting, but you'd go and you'd abstract yourself and
We-
be like, you know
we
what?
did it
It's
'cause it was
ironic that we're
cheap.
here. You're there. It's cheap, but part of you to kind of sort of, I guess, cope with the circumstances was to go there and to be like the hip people that are only there so you can say, can you believe people actually drink this shit or eat
As you're
here
pouring it into
as
your
you're
coffee?
eating and
Yeah,
drinking it? Yeah.
Oh, no, the pit, there was an incident where we actually had like a movie moment because Journey came on and there was a friend that was not in the right state of mind.
I don't...
Say
What
that.
do you mean? Right state of mind? What do you mean?
Hi on life.
Let's go fly a kite.
But a Journey song came on and he just started lip syncing and dancing around, but people just went with it. So he's all, don't stop, and like pointing at the waitress, and she's like, believe it. And
She
I'm
was
like,
high, too.
Okay, that sounds magical.
that was magical, but also the pit grill. It's the pit grill. It's right by the Days Inn, where right by the stadium. It's the pit. If you live in the area, go to it. You will regret it.
Unless you're a hipster, in which case it will fuel your hipness.
Well, I was like obsessed with. I still am obsessed with good coffee shops because I don't like Starbucks. I'm not saying that to be a hipster. I just don't like the coffee. I just don't. But I take my little sister there, and she's like, to that really nice coffee shop that we go to all the time. Yeah. She doesn't like it because she's like, this hot chocolate tastes weird. I'm like, 'cause it's good. That's why it tastes weird, sweetie. But instead, she's like, let's go to Starbucks. I'm like, I will go to Starbucks for you. I will be getting a tea, not a coffee. But
I'll get a glass
do you remember
of water
Coogan's? Coogan's was a coffee shop, and it was essentially a bar and a coffee shop, and a lot of underage drinking.
In Arlington?
In Arlington. It used to be off Cooper. When Cooper, like, long ago, when you could drive 45 down Cooper, not 35.
And not catch every goddamn light. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, I was
bitter
obsessed
about
with
Cooper.
I still am obsessed
Very
with
bitter
Cooper.
about
there.
Cooper. I'm like, fucking Cooper.
Someone still lives in Arlington.
Shut up.
You sucker. No, I'm not near Hazlitt now, actually.
That's right. That's right.
Drivey McDrive.
Versus from Driveville.
Yeah.
I love the story you just told about the journey, like
I do it all
impromptu
the time.
lip syncing thing happening.
Like,
we had weird shit. We're like in my IHOP experience, like we had weird shit. We had like some big fat old man come in one night, insisting everyone that he just escaped from some satanic cult. That he'd like, I was in this pit with a bunch of bodies, and we gotta call the police. And we're like, pretty sure just to look at you that had you been in any pit filled with anything, you would not have emerged quite so unscathed because you look like you weigh 500 pounds and you look 100 years old.
In reality, he was at a Manilow concert.
Yeah, in reality, he was at an Easter egg hunt, and
that went wrong.
He shouldn't have been there. But yeah, he came in one night and like tried to freak us all out, and all of us were like, "Okay, so there's a rabid
things and stuff.
gang of Satanists out there, apparently killing animals and children left and right, and they're coming this way because they're coming for you." And of course, they never shut up. And the waitresses like knew him, so like, he's harmless, he's just fucking crazy. We're like, no. But like he was a regular after that. Like he would come in just about every time we were all there. He'd be there about the same time of night, and he was always trying to convince us of some crazy shit going down that he was part of. Mm-hmm. And it's not safe to be around me type of thing. And we're like, oh, I know I just kind of made him sound like Brian Massey. No, so what I did is I took him outside and I took him to the Oliveira plan, and and he calmed down. That's all I needed was a little aloe. I just rubbed a little aloe on his teeth, and he calmed down. He actually, his voice, he got the most mellow British sounding voice. And, and then stop. You know what I meant to say, all of that I've been saying was just code for, you kids seem really nice, Godspeed. But.
Well, we had a lot of homeless people that like made the weekly rounds, and I guess always forgot what we looked like. So he gave us the same story every week.
Oh, yeah, there was the guy that was deaf.
There was the guy that was deaf, and there was the guy that had his wife in the truck, and she really needed to get to the hospital.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, it's been 2 months. Your wife is dead.
Still going to the hospital.
Her wife is dead.
Well, now it's different. Now she twisted her spleen.
I don't fully remember the deaf guy.
No, there was this guy that would come up and tell us that he couldn't hear, and he had these like papers to show you and say like, oh, I need some help, I need some money. And so finally one day, because we're like, I don't actually think he's deaf. And so one day he was walking away, and we were like, hey, deaf guy, and he turned around. He's like, oh, you.
He felt the vibrations, okay?
I got your energy calling me.
If you don't turn around, you're a douchebag. You're still a douchebag. I'm sorry. Or then like, wow, are you a professional dancer? No, I'm just drunk. I don't remember. We had a lot of solicitors around there. Like I worked there for a little bit up until they closed. I actually went in the day that they closed, and no one told me that they had changed the locks. I'm like, well, I'm here in my fucking apron like a fucking asshole.
I'm keeping the goddamn apron.
I still have the apron. But they're like, yeah, no. Did no one call you? I'm like, clearly not.
Well, they did, but I figured I'd show up anyway, just in case. It was all a joke.
But there were kids that always try to sell candy bars, and it looked like they just had bought like a whole box from a convenience store and tried to upsell them. Like, they're like, yeah, no, like, here's a regular Butterfinger. Like, my brothers and I are trying to raise money for, I'm like, okay, I'll buy a candy bar. How much? And it's like, $5. $5?
Candy bar.
And I said, who's your pimp? And he went, no one, ma'am. And I'm like, since you answered so politely to that very shrill voice, I will pay $5 for that Butterfinger.
And eat this incredibly slowly.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
I used to solicit
$5
candy
Butterfinger.
when I was in elementary school. Do you remember
those horrible finest chocolate?
No. We went to
the paraffin wax chocolate shit.
Well, for me, it was Airheads because the only way I could ever get Airheads was going to the what do they call it? The
Scholastic?
No, it was like the outdoor obstacle courses and stuff. It was
Field
like a
day.
special field day. Woo, field day. So a friend of mine and I would go, and our parents would give us money for snacks, and we would use all of our money to buy all of the Airheads that they had there. And then when we got back to school, we would sell them to the other kids at a marked up price. We actually got in a lot of trouble when we got caught, but it was worth it.
I never did
quite
candy.
a profit. It was not bad.
I stole hall passes. I stole hall passes and memorized counselor signatures, and I sold hall passes. And okay,
smart.
What's your last name? They're like, Miller. I'm like, Miller. Okay, your counselor's name is Cox, I think. Okay, let me try to remember what Miss Cox, how she signs her name. Hold on. Okay. There you go. That'll be $20. Do you want to get out of study hall or what? Boom. I was Zach Morris, essentially.
That's funny. That's funny.
I had a friend who did
I wish
that
I'd
with
sold candy. That's much easier.
I was the kid that talked other
easy.
kids into doing very bad things for me. So I was like the Moriarty. I'd be like, you go and why don't you go and do that? Yeah. We'd always
the old
play
school
really
Moriarty,
pranks.
not the one that's incredibly flamboyant.
Oh, I would probably more like that one than the old one.
I do love him.
I love him too. The really crazy, as Mike McFarlane would say, crazy. But yes, more like him. And it was not like I don't know. We'd always did fundraising stuff in school, and I always hated it. So I would just go and
Mom, will you just take this to work and piss off your
one year I had a
coworkers?
bunch of I wasn't going to sell that many because my family bought some. It was like we were selling cookie dough and popcorn. I fucking hate popcorn. Bought a lot of the cookie dough ourselves because I'm like, totally. We'll
use that.
Eat the shit out of this. But
Raw.
the popcorn I hated, so I pretended to get mugged.
Like the tin popcorn?
Yes.
Oh,
I pretended.
You pretended to get mugged? Is that what you just said?
I pretended to get mugged and lost everything, that they gave me to sell. And so they were like, "Oh, pumpkin! We're so sorry!" Like I came home, I was like all scratched up. I seriously did. I rolled around in the dirt, and
oh my god!
I gave all the shit to my friend who wanted it, but he couldn't pay for it. I'm like, "You just fucking take it," and I'm going to go home and insist that it got stolen.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Like punch me in the face. No, so I went to there was this creek and I rolled around the dirt and threw myself in the creek and then came home and was like, these guys, and they were like, well, why? What did they look like? I don't know. They were wearing Halloween masks,
like
and there was like
woman
8
man.
of them, and it was just really funny.
He had a face. I'm not sure.
They're like,
He could have been white
arms and legs
or Hispanic or I really don't see color.
I think one of them was a hipster. Because he had a beard.
Ironically,
he was wearing a beard on the outside of his mask.
He was wearing a beard. Actually, the mask had a beard on it.
The mask had a beard, and it didn't fit because he had a real beard. And that was just his look. It was so weird. And he said he didn't even like popcorn. He was just taking it to make a point.
Actually, sweetie, that's a lot of detail. That was a lot of detail.
Okay, you know what? I gave all the fucking candy corn to Philip. Okay, shut up. It's not getting back. He's already
it's
eaten
Philip,
it.
so...
Yeah.
Philip probably needed it. No, I don't know.
I used to have to go door to door when I was really young.
Do you remember going door to door? These kids don't know how well they have it.
Yeah, no. That's how you did it.
Come back.
You either had boxes of most of the time, and later because they figured they couldn't trust kids with large amounts of foods and stuff, they would just give us order sheets to take around and be like, I'll put you down for
and
such and such
back,
and bring us. But back in the day, they used to actually give you the shit to try to sell it right out of hand. And so they give us the tins of popcorn.
You get prizes for how much
you get prizes. They give you
for the prizes that you could
it's a bunch
win.
of bullshit. They give you get cheap shit, but like the teacher's lounge, gets a new fucking, percolator or something. Percolator, didn't have Keurig back then. Okay, it was a percolator. It's a percolator because it went much like the Cinnamite waitresses at IHOP. She's asking if you want a refill, honey. Yes. But we know, so we would have to go door to door with the shit, and it was creepy because I think after a while they're like, yeah, no, we don't want you to do that because it's a bunch of fucking kids going to strangers' doors going, hi.
I did that.
It's like reverse Halloween.
Here you go.
Instead of going door to door to get candy, you have to go and try to convince people to take candy from you.
But also, you don't collect from them until they get it. So you can order all this stuff, and then suddenly they just won't be there anymore.
Sorry. Yeah,
I did that in my apartment complex quite a lot. But it was right around the time because it happened around here. The Amber Hagerman thing.
Oh yeah,
and that's when they stopped doing it.
Oh yeah.
Because she was from around here.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they're like, yeah, stop doing that. But like, it's more efficient now. Like my little sister, she's 10. Girl Scout cookies thing just happened. She sold 850 boxes.
Do they still go door to door? Or do they just
do they just do like Chase Bank? Like I want to just,
which I think is much better. Like they set up by like a CVS or a Walgreens or something, and they always be like, and I'll walk by and be like, you're not going to get me, and then on the way out I'll be like, okay, 1 box of Samoas. Okay, I'm like, 3 boxes.
I'm not going to buy any. And she got my favorite cookie and Steven's favorite cookie, and she gave us those for Christmas. I'm like, I just decided that I'm going to be better about this stuff, but Thin Mints it is. Oh my god. But there are new flavors now.
They never made the Boy Scouts or anything like that.
Well, no, because you guys were actually learning skills. We were learning how to
skills that help us so much in the real world. Like, I can tie a fucking granny knot.
You know about the aloe vera? I mean, come on.
I didn't learn that from Scouts. I fucking learned that from
we had to watch that on reality TV.
I didn't learn that in Scouts.
Pioneers.
I learned that trick from my dealer when I was in high school. I'm kidding. I did learn it from someone that was not a Scout. Let me put it that way. But that was in Scouts. It was like things like archery, because this will come in very handy later in life.
Steven's an archer.
And he's a really good one. But when are you going to use that apart from just saying I know this? It's like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love knowing useless things. In fact, it's most of what I know is completely fucking useless in every way, shape, and form. It's just fun to think about. It's fun having it. I'm like, I am not life competent, but I can talk to the fucking cows come home about a number of subjects that no one finds at all interesting.
You're a hipster.
Except I don't do it ironically. I embrace this because I really think it's fun.
Tatum just bought a harpsichord.
And I would totally do that. Oh my God. I almost bought, 6 years ago, I almost bought a kit to make my own harpsichord because I thought it'd be fun.
To make your own?
Yeah, because it's cheaper than actually buying a harpsichord because it's not like they fucking really make them anymore. No. And they're
Someone
not
tried to
cheap.
special order one.
But it was like, they had this set.
It
was like, oh my God, I would love to make one because I like that. I like the harpsichord sound. I'm like, it would be kind of fun to have a harpsichord. They're smaller than pianos, so they're easier to put up.
And to wear that crazy robe that you want.
And one of that crazy Victorian men's robe with the fez. And the meerschaum pipe, and just play. I want to play hipster stuff on instead of Bach or Poulenc. I'll play
Journey.
something. I'll play. I'll play just punk rock on the harpsichord. That is the epitome of irony. Then
Does anyone have any
hipster.
Requests? I'm thinking Black Flag.
My harpsichord will have a beard. How do we get on the subject of harpsichords?
How do we do anything?
How do we do anything?
It's ironic.
We are hipsters, I'm telling you.
No.
We're like the lizard people from V. Our mask is going to come
No.
off. Oh my God, I do have a beard. Yeah, it's.
I do.
We're really
I will pull that. No, that's impossible.
I think hipster is just a label people level at other people that they can't make sense
of labels. Maybe
It's
I have
jazz
a lot
music.
of hipster
I don't know.
qualities,
It's jazz. It's.
But I don't like we do yoga. And they're like, oh, it's that hippie bullshit. I'm like, just because I do yoga? Like, I'm a...
Yeah.
No.
Like,
I know a lot of hippies, and they do not look like they do yoga. Just gonna say that. Just gonna say that. Yeah. Most hippies I know are not very limber.
Okay.
Did I make it very awkward? I'm sorry. But they know a lot about aloe vera plants.
this is true.
You in Death Valley? What is fucking Burning Man? Where were you?
We don't talk about that day. Suffice to say, it's how I learned I wasn't made for hang gliding.
This is the weirdest not story you...
I'm telling it elliptically. I
don't even want you to complete the story. I just want you to keep going, and just so you know,
if you listen to this enough time, if you listen to this enough time, there is a story here. You just can't. I'm giving you pieces out of order. It's very ironic and very avant-garde.
Avant-garde.
Avant-garde. Avant-garde.
So, Kristi! I don't know.
She almost said Bingham again.
Dude,
Kristi,
she was Bingham up until 2 years
for a
ago.
long time.
And, I know 2 Kristis. And I'm like, it's Kristi Bingham. And that's Kristi Yang.
Sorry,
and now
even marriage can't get you out of that. Can't get you out of, you will always be.
You know, it is what it is. Even my parents are like, I'll call over their house. They're like, hey, Kristi Bingham. I'm like, you know that's not my name anymore. oh yeah.
Well, or maybe that's their way of going like, Joey's nice, but...
So your parents call you by your last name? Weird.
We don't speak much.
Kristi Bingham.
Hello, Miss Bingham. How are you? Hello, mother person.
Mother Bingham.
Hello, mother and father person.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Mommy of mine and Daddy.
Life giver Bingham.
Life giver. Hello, life giver. My mom's dog sitting for me next weekend. I'm telling you, thank you, life giver.
Thank you, life
really
giver Bingham.
Thank you for giving me life
Bingham.
and being a Bingham.
You should call her, your mom by her maiden name.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Mama Green.
Or my mother didn't have a middle name, so now her maiden name is her middle name. So they're like, that's a weird middle name.
Wait, what?
Gaetan.
She didn't have a middle name?
No, most a lot of Hispanic people I know don't have middle names. Like my friend Emmanuel doesn't have a middle name, and his last name's Castro. But now it's kind of just understood that when you get married, your maiden name will just kind of be understood as your middle name. So they're like, that Gaetan's a weird middle name. She doesn't want to explain it. It's like,
What is it?
Gaetan.
Gaetan.
Or Gaetan. Texas. Gaetan. Boy,
Gaetan.
that's Gaetan. I'm like, oh, it's Gaetan.
That's the Gaetan.
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 Hating Gaetan.
Teresa Gaetan. Or Gaetan.
Gaetan sounds much more fun.
But Joel doesn't call me Terry. He calls me Doty Hoff.
Doty Hoff.
What's up, Doty Hoff? And I'm like, Steven gets his actual name, and I get Doty Hoff. Or he gets Mr. Doty Hoff. Like
Mr. Doty Hoff. I used to call him Mr. Terry.
Mr. Terry. Mr. Terry, Mr. Terry.
Mr. Terry. I don't understand the question.
Well, when my friend Sarah was in Korea, they didn't call her, Miss Pintilia. They called her Teacher Sarah. Teacher Sarah. Teacher Sarah.
Teacher Sarah. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, the hourglass has
God.
ended, so we can take a little break.
I would love to
and
urinate.
then we'll actually get to questions.
Fucking ruby slippers are never coming off.
It's been
ago.
They don't know that.
So many conversations we've had.
It's
since
so
then.
funny how we were like, we're back after a break. It's not a break as far as they're concerned.
They don't know.
They don't care.
We've
It's been like
grown
less than a
as
second.
people. I know, for a long time I thought about doing break music or something.
Like intermission music.
Do NPR, just have the most obscure music playing between breaks. And
Hipster music.
Didgeridoo? What?
Didgeridoo. I had a friend who tried to learn how to play that, but it didn't really work.
What were the vuvuzela? Let's have vuvuzela music.
Okay, so we have questions, and I'm going to choose this one. We got a lot of really good questions, and before I start, remember that you can always send questions before the show to thatanimeshow@gmail.com, or you can wait and tweet us from 3 to 5, which is when we're
Unless
recording.
your questions suck.
And
don't send them.
I did make a little section
suck
that
list.
some people may have seen, but it's on our website now. It's a whole page that helps you increase your chances of having a question asked. Because I know that everyone's like, "Oh my god, I hope my question gets asked," and they just stay up nights. Just God,
very stressful.
it's a very stressful thing when they send in a question. And, okay, so this is from, I believe this is from Harrison. I didn't see an actual signature. So if this isn't from Harrison, sorry, don't correct me. Your name is Harrison now. All right. Okay. This is, okay. Let me see. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Okay.
Is that the question? What is the question? Oh my God.
No, because I'm like, wait, crap. It's, A couple of years ago, I was given a book called Real Culture, which examines some of the most recognized films in pop culture. It included movies like Casablanca, Clockwork Orange, Silence of the Lambs, and Night of the Living Dead. After receiving this book and reading about all these films, I decided to watch all of them, just because. So far, I've seen most of the films on this list. Out of all the ones I've seen so far, the only movie from this book that I can't stand and absolutely hate is 2001: A Space Odyssey. I have no clue what it's about, and to this day, I get pissed off that I even watched that movie and wasted that space on my library card. This leads me to my question. This leads me to my question. What is the most or one of the most pointless movies you've ever seen and regret watching? I like it. That was a
loaded fucking question.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Gosh, I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute. I will say that for a long while I was quite a movie snob. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Weren't we? It's like, oh, that movie was filth. Come now. Everyone knows that actor's name. I will never watch it. But, you know, now, like recently going back and looking at some of the movies that I had thought were really like beautiful and artistic, it's like, this is
pretentious
crap.
Yeah.
I can't believe I like this.
I don't think I ever understood it. I just said I liked it because people said that it was smart. But yeah, I don't know. I would say biggest waste. That's hard. That's a hard question.
Well, what's a movie that you've come that, like you were alluding to just a second ago, a movie that you used to love and you come back and you're like, wow, that's stupid. Why, man, what was wrong with me? Is there anything that comes to mind when you think of that?
Well, yes. Okay, and I don't think it's incredibly stupid. I just think it's hard to watch now. Requiem for a Dream.
It is hard to watch. It makes you so uncomfortable.
It actually makes me sick. And I think it's really well done. I mean, I do think that it's actually a great movie, but I just can't watch it. It's just too, I'm like, this is...
Steven can't watch it. He has a thing about like old ladies in distress. It really upsets him. It's like, I'm gonna be on television. No, you're not. You're not. And Jared Leto eats something. God damn it. But it's
difficult. I've always found that movie difficult to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only ever seen it the once all the way through because that first time I think I had a panic attack.
Yeah,
when it was over.
That's a movie you don't need to see
by
more than once,
myself.
Well, I appreciate
I think
it.
that was
it's
really
meant to.
rough.
I think you're meant to react like that, and my hats off to any artist that can do something that's like, I'm going to make the audience react like this, and they all do invariably act like that and react to it that way. But I don't ever need to see it again.
True,
Been
there.
Yeah, but yeah. So sorry, but continue. I didn't mean to.
Well, I don't know. It's hard for me to think of movies that I hate because there's so many that I love. You know what I mean?
Let's try to focus on those. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like The Fountain. Have you guys seen The Fountain?
No, I have not.
Beautiful movie, and it's one that like people might go like, "Oh, I don't get it. I'm not so sure," but you have to watch it like 4 times. And
everyone's entitled to their opinion. Tatum.
No. I'm not gonna.
He's doing Burt face. He's doing Burt face hardcore.
I'm sorry. You think you were a film snob? I'm still a film. I'm an insufferable, and I know I'm an insufferable bastard. And I realize like I really should calm the fuck down and just get on with my life.
I not only
film student here, sweetie. Film student. And I'm the thing with me, I don't even know. I don't even watch movies that much anymore because they just don't, as a rule. And it's not that I think, movies are crap. I'm not trying to be ironic or cool or hip by not watching them. I've gotten to a point in my life where, for the most part, I just am not interested in going to see them anymore. The whole idea of seeing a movie. I mean, there are exceptions to the rule. Okay, they have
Chris Hemsworth in them. You're going to see them.
That's different. That's very different. I didn't say...
Different motivation.
You know, but But is he in everything? No. So I don't see a lot of movies anymore. You know, and I used to be so excited by movies when I was younger. Mm-hmm. That I would go to these big event movies, and I would like the big blockbusters that they do all 6 months of trailers leading up to it, and everybody's like, oh my god, I can't wait to go see it. And I would always, and I found this to be true of myself when I was in my teens and 20s especially, that if I was really excited by a movie, it didn't matter how bad or good it may be objectively, I was gonna fucking love it. And I would always walk away going, oh my god, I love that. Yeah. And I would be distressed when everyone around me that's the biggest piece of shit we've ever spent, fucking $6 $6 back in the day. $6 on it, yeah. And I would be like, and so and it's funny, and I kind of miss being able to just say I don't really care whether it's a good or a bad film. I'm so enthusiastic. I'm so excited that I'm going to love it. Something out of it, regardless, and I kind of miss being able to do that. Something turned over in me when as I got older, and now I'm more cynical.
You got a critical eye to it.
I got a critical eye to it, and in some ways that critical eye has served me well, but in other ways it has also robbed me of a great deal of what was. I think it's a fine line you have to have when you're
leading up to it. What is it?
It's a fine line when you have a critical eye. You have to be careful not to be so overly critical that you deny yourself an experience that might otherwise, you can go see a shitty movie. And
I love shitty movies.
No, but I mean, you can go with the expectations that it will be fucking amazing, that it'll be a great movie, and it can be a shitty movie, and you may have an experience having seen this shitty movie with blinders on that you would not have had seeing a shitty movie knowing it was a shitty movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think I'm very reluctant now when someone comes to me and says, oh my god, have you seen this movie? It's a great movie. Or read this book. It's a great book. Mm-hmm. I don't like to go, oh, that's shit. The fuck's wrong with you? Because I mean, who the fuck am I to try to take that away from them? That wasn't a genuine experience for them, and may not be.
That doesn't stop me.
It doesn't stop me, but I don't like to do that anymore, because I think, whatever, we're just seeing two very different movies. There's their version of this film, which is very important to them, and there's my version, which isn't.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. You don't want to go, okay, I'm going to stop you right there. You're wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's
your opinion's not actually valid.
Anyone who
your opinion is wrong.
Anyone who's fanatical about something, the fanatic, they just can't absorb it. They're like, oh my god, it's just like, okay, this whatever you've seen has just completely dominated your personality. Let me talk you back down to yourself.
Indiana Jones sucks.
That's different. But I mean, at the same time, it's. I think I've had, for the longest time, I loved everything I saw. Mm-hmm. If I went into it wanting to love it, I would walk away loving it. Uh-huh. And then when I realized that's what I was doing, I stopped loving anything. Uh-huh. Because it's like I didn't trust myself. So I had to go in, and I was more, and I was so intensely critical of everything that I just couldn't fucking enjoy it. Mm-hmm. It was really funny, though. I can still remember the very first film I saw intently critical, and I don't mean negatively critical. I was going to interpret this film, like every shot I was going to look at as, with, under the microscope of my film school, my film historical, whatever, training, if you want to call it that, was Crimson Tide, which is an utterly forgettable movie in every other sense. But I enjoyed the hell out of it because it was the first movie I saw. I'm like, oh, they're doing this. It was the first movie I really picked apart and kind of got what they were doing, even though it's there's really, to look on it now. So that has a special place in my heart. But almost every movie that has ever won an Academy Award, with very few exceptions in the past 20 years, I've not liked.
I don't trust the Academy.
I just don't. Well, I mean, the Academy, I don't really know what goes into the politics.
They're telling you what to watch, and I always myself to do
I frequently feel they go
to watch.
You have yourself to watch. I would nominate myself for Best Picture.
I think they frequently pick films that are very middle brow. Like they're either heavy, or they're
heavy on the pretension.
They're pretentious in that I think a lot of their films are the first Academy Award-winning film that I remember seeing and loving, and then when it won, I was like, actually, no, it shouldn't have won. And now I can't stand the film. Was Forrest Gump. I fucking hate.
I know you
Forrest Gump. I mean, it makes me angry in a way that it really shouldn't make me angry because it's just a fucking movie and who cares? But it did. And I think it's because when I first saw it, I was determined to love it. And that was the turning point for me. I loved it and I walked away, and then I thought about it and something happened. I'm like, God, no, that isn't very good, and I really don't think I like what that movie is saying, and I think it's really kind of cheap, and inconsistent, and there's all sorts of problems. God, why did I like this movie? You know what, Tatum? You will never like a movie again, ever. I will never be hurt again. It's like getting out of a bad relationship that you didn't know was bad until the person left you. And you're like, I'm not going to trust it anyway. Now I'm only going to date people so I can fuck with them. So that's how I was with movies. We've all been there. Like, I'm only going to date people so I can be a mean bastard to them.
That was me until Joey.
That was,
but that's how it was.
Me a little into Steve. It's like, okay, just stop. Okay, I know what you're doing because he was friends with me before, so just cut the shit. Okay.
Yeah, but I've gotten so cynical about movies now that I just don't. I'll either completely turn it off and go to see some big blockbuster film like Dark Knight Rises and love every frame of it, even though I know objectively. Yeah, I loved it because I wanted to love it. And there's nothing about it that makes it a great film. But I had a great time. I had a great time. I'm not going to defend it as a great film, but I got really excited. It made me feel like a kid again.
Me. Like, I think I would have liked it if people hadn't been like, oh.
Well, see, and here's the thing. I think I liked it because it was so hyped, and I felt like I was part of the
that's one thing
tide.
That you were saying that I'm totally the opposite. If someone tells me like, oh my gosh, you have to read this book, it's amazing. I'm like, it's amazing? Awesome. And I read it, and I'm like, this isn't really amazing. But if they tell me, hey, this is all right, you should read this, then I get into it, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Because there's not that expectation.
What is it? You would think that, you would think that.
I have to trust
So an enthusiastic recommendation is not as valuable as a half-assed one, right?
I would rather,
how does that work?
I don't know. I would rather, like, if my mom's going to recommend a movie to me, I would rather her say, hey, I enjoyed this. You might get a kick out of it, but I'm not going to tell you anything about it. So that I can just kind of determine for myself how I feel.
So do you think it's kind of, when someone comes at you with like, oh my God, this is the best book ever, you have to read it, you feel pressured to love it as much as they do.
Yeah, I guess so.
And if they're not as enthusiastic, then you're free to kind of take it or leave it.
And plus, I think like there have been very few books that I've read that have actually been like super profoundly amazing. And when someone tells me like, yeah, this is that for you, and then I read it, I'm like, but it isn't. It isn't.
I'm always disappointed when people tell me you would love this or that, and I think
I know you
will
go out of my way not to read
and
it.
I'll read it just to see how wrong they are about me. I'm like, why the fuck would you think I would like this? And now the thing is, we're talking about films, but like when it comes to books, oh fuck no one can make any recommendations. First of all, I've probably already read it and spat on it. At some point, I am huge. I'm an absolute bastard with books. I'm very, very, very picky, and that's but that's my thing. That's my area.
Did you answer it? Like, so Forrest Gump, it was Forrest Gump?
Forrest Gump is probably the one that, but there are many, is what I'm saying. Just about every movie I've seen since I was 25 has been like, oh my God, this is shit.
I think I just don't finish those movies. Like, if I start watching them and they're crap, I'm like, no, I'm not going to really do that.
Like, I'm thinking, like, as far as, like, bad, I'm thinking of the films that you do end up seeing in theaters, maybe because you're bored or because, like, they've been hyped up. Like, but you see them and they're so bad that it takes a lot for me to walk out of the theater. like
doesn't take much for me at all.
I go, well, it used to, because now it's like, but the management doesn't give a shit as long as it's less than halfway through the movie, or sometimes I guess not even that. Like, no, I want my money back. This sucks. It's never because I'm offended, but I've only done that with one movie, and that was totally my bad because I should have known better. But I was dating it was the guy I dated before Steven, who hated horror movies and always made fun of me for being obsessed with them. And I think it was Roger Ebert that actually said, if you're not with someone that doesn't like the movies you like, you have no one but yourself to blame. Kind of like, like, like that's spot on. That is a paraphrase. I know that wasn't the exact quote, but, and Steven is obsessed with horror movies, but I like girls like horror movies. Yes, me. But Matthew, that was his name. I'm sure it's still his name. He's not dead or anything, just dead to me.
Changed
it. If he was dead, it would still be his name, right?
He's like, well, I want to take you to a horror movie, and he just randomly brought me to go see Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek? I've never even heard of it.
Forgettable movie that it's an Australian movie, and it was so bad. It's that whole like torture porn bullshit, like where it's all like gore for the sake of gore, like it's like super blah. And I'm like, no, like it became like, well, like he didn't understand why I didn't like it. I'm like, 'cause it sucks. Like
but it's a horror movie.
There are good B movies.
It.
Every movie that he was like, "Hey, well, happy birthday," and he got me like Zombie Honeymoon. I'm like, because it has the word zombie in it, does not make it a good zombie film.
Not mean that I love it.
Oh my god! Can I just say it's like being gay. When I first came out, all my friends were like, "Oh my god, well I have a gay friend that I think you'll be perfect for," and I'm like, "Okay,
he's gay.
He needs to be more than gay for me to like him." Okay, it's not like, but you like movies, so I got you Plan 9 from Outer Space. That's the same as Citizen Kane, isn't it?
I would much rather watch Plan. Is it Plan or Planet? I forget. Plan 9.
Plan 9.
Plan 9 from Outer Space than watch Wolf Creek. But the one that you and I saw that was really bad, it was me, you, Steven, Joshua.
We've seen several together.
Bevins and Clarine. And we should have known because we were the only people in the theater. Watchmen.
Oh, that was a big one too.
Awful.
And I wanted so badly to like that movie because I was like, "Oh, I love the story. I love the graphic novel that it's based on." It is one of the worst pieces of shit I have ever seen in my life. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I had blocked it out all these years. I mean, there are scenes where I'm like, I am watching a really long ass fucking boring
all
music
I could
video.
look at was the giant blue penis.
That's
really all
that was the one saving grace as far as I was concerned.
Or no,
but I'm
just
like,
okay,
how can you take?
how are we having a conversation? There is a blue penis on the screen.
I know. I was like, I don't hear anything.
How can we take seriously a love scene between two people that ends with a simulated cum shot? You know what I'm talking about? They're on this fucking blimp thing ship. I forget now what it's called. And, we know that they've just climaxed because this thing's shooting out of the thing. Like, that means it's so fucking stupid. Everyone in the audience giggles. I'm like, this is supposed to be a tender or at least a romantic moment. And it ends with this kind of like, brr. I mean, it's like you're like, it ends with this ridiculous. I'm like, who thought this would be a good idea? Like, we're going to represent the cum shot here. Like, that's just funny. It's going to make people giggle. And it does. And it just completely ruins the moment.
I get very uncomfortable watching sex scenes, which is so funny, but I don't really dig on sex scenes that are hardcore. I'm like, okay, there's porn for that. But maybe that's just me, but I just feel that most of the time they're unnecessary. It's not a this is, I'm not a prude or anything. I'm not. Anyone listening to the show is we know. Not. But after a sex scene, after they've climaxed, play a wah, 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 or something.
I think it's really funny. I find myself drawn towards older films. And I mean, things from pretty much anything that predates the 1950s. And I don't know. I used to think, they don't make them like they used to. But I thought, that's bullshit. Of course they don't. But does that mean anything? But I really honestly think that
a lot of my favorite films
there was just a very different aesthetic when the medium was still young, and that was its kind of adolescence, and so people were encouraged, I think, to experiment. And now I think the latter half of the 20th century films are so commercially driven that everything is derivative and kind of an echo of an echo of an echo because they're all about who's going to pay money to see this? Whereas beforehand you had there are still artistic films outside of the commercial system being made, but they are relatively rare. And even then, these quote-unquote indie films, I used to be all about indie films. A lot of indie films don't do it for me anymore because I think people stopped, drawing upon life for their work,
and they were drawing upon other indie films. And they
draw upon other indie films, and I'm like, so this just becomes one big circle jerk. And this, I just kind of feel like, give me something I haven't seen before, or at least make a comment about the human condition in some. I mean, I don't know. I just want a film to move me, and it can't move me if I've already seen the story before, and I just feel like you're trying to ride his coattails, which is every fucking film nowadays.
You reminded me, I used to really like Tarantino films, and I really don't dig on Tarantino. I know that he's changed his style a bit.
I've kind of gone cold on him myself. To be honest.
But you were saying, I used to love this film, and I was watching Pulp Fiction or something, and then it became, he's really heavy on references, I really was into, these films as a kid, and I was always in love with this, and I'm like, yes, I get that, but it's so heavy-handed in your films, now that I know the films that you're referencing, that it makes a lot of his stuff unwatchable to me.
Well, and there's a fine line between, wanting to sort of pay homage to your influences and then doing that to such an extent that you leave no room for your own individual voice. You just become a series of quotations, and I'm like, you're just regurgitating, and I'm like, it's an artistic coping mechanism. A lot of I think the artists who are almost good but never quite there are the ones that can't really get out from under the shadow of the artists that influence them. And they can still make some really good movies, but you always kind of feel like, well, it feels more like a part of their influences body of work than their own. And I'm fascinated by that. You know, watching it can still be a neat movie, but I don't know. Things don't move me the way they used to, especially in films, because I find films so contrived. And they are, obviously, by definition, they're contrived. Yeah. But it's like I've never seen a convincing death scene on film ever, because I'm very aware that that's not real. You know, I've never seen a convincing sex scene or very awkward. But it's just one of those things where I love really a bad
sex scene, though. That's so funny.
They're funny, where I'm like, this doesn't make love. This doesn't work like this.
Or especially like if they're characters or they're actors that clearly weren't into each other, or if they're playing like, or if they're like two straight women playing gay women, are like, you guys are so uncomfortable. You guys are so uncomfortable.
Okay, I have a movie now. Have you ever heard of Rosemary's Baby?
Yes. That's so overrated.
I don't remember anything about it, except I think it was that movie. I remember this scene where this couple moves into a new house, and they're up in the attic, like, I don't know, looking at the attic. And all of a sudden they decide that they want to have sex. And so the woman goes, let's make love. And they go to opposite sides of the attic and strip down and then come back together. And that's the only thing I remember about that movie.
Oh, the 60s.
I don't remember.
I find sometimes it's really interesting because I find sometimes a movie will not be watchable or it won't be enjoyable until later you kind of find a weird key for it that was completely accidental. I didn't like Rosemary's Baby for a long time, and I still don't find it. I still think as a horror movie, it's very overrated. It's an interesting
seem like a horror movie to me.
It really doesn't. It seems like a kind of dark drama.
I just remember
it's just Mia Farrow having an awesome haircut. That's all I remember.
I'm fascinated by that film now, and Roman Polanski's companion to it. I say companion for reasons that will become clear in a moment, but Roman Polanski was the husband of Sharon Tate, who was killed by the Manson family in that brutal murder in 1969. Yeah. And Rosemary's Baby came out the year before. Actually, he was
70s.
He was filming it beforehand. He was filming it before. When he was filming it, Sharon Tate was still alive. And it's very interesting. And I read this interesting critical appraisal of the film by Pauline Kael, who's one of my favorite film critics, along with Ebert, who I miss now. Because these were critics that I did what I think a critic's job is not just go, boring, hated it, oh my God, love it, you should go see it, which is all everyone does anymore. But they actually spoke intelligently about, not necessarily, they never...
They critiqued it.
They critiqued it, and if they didn't, and if the filmmakers were presenting them with something that was not covered by their training as film critics, they would simply artistically write about their gut reaction to the film, which then would guide them, which I think is great. I think it just became kind of an extended commentary on what it was like to see a film, and that's the kind of dialogue I think every artist wants. But Pauline Kael wrote this really interesting appraisal of Rosemary's Baby, talking about, like, you can clearly see, or not clearly, but if you look at it under a certain, from a certain angle, this entire movie is kind of Roman Polanski being very anxious at the idea of being a father. And seeing it through that lens is kind of like, damn, now this makes this otherwise kind of mediocre film really interesting for me. And so then I started picking apart.
So I just watched it recently.
And the reason I brought up his version of Macbeth, which came out a couple of years after the Sharon Tate murders, his version of Macbeth is an incredibly bleak film. It's
Polanski,
a bleak play,
really?
But even for Polanski, it's bleak because the colors are all brown and muted and maybe like muddied, and it's really hard to watch. I think it's a brilliant film, but it is very hard to watch, and I've only seen it all the way through a couple of times because it depresses you. But I like his take on it. But in it, there's constant references to the atrocities that Macbeth commits in order to not only win the crown, but once he's to keep it once he's there. And in this really subtle way, I won't go into detail because it's actually quite boring unless you're actually watching the film. But this film is filled with really crazy phantasmagoric imagery, which is appropriate to the play because the play is all about, supernatural influence. It's a nightmare of a play. I mean, it's brilliant because it's a fucking walking, living, breathing nightmare, and that's why it's so effective, and that's why it survived 400 years. But the movie works because it exploits that, and at the same time becomes a very personal kind of reminiscence of what Sharon Tate's death must have done to Polanski. And it's very hard to watch knowing that, because it kind of becomes his way of kind of exorcising the nightmare of what had really happened in his own life in this film. And reading it like that is just it's intensely interesting, I think, personally. But my point was is sometimes just the right key, given the right lens to look at a film
it's
with
totally true.
can make a total difference. It's
like you were talking about earlier. I mean, like for me, The Fountain is that. Like I had some health issues going on, and like I saw The Fountain like right at the beginning of it, and understanding like death as an act of creation and all of that like totally helped me to turn around my perspective about what was going on in my life. And I mean, I don't know. It's just like that was that lens. And so every time I go back and see that movie, it's like, oh my gosh, like anything painful can be beautiful, And
I'm a big believer, at the end of the day, I think I'm a big believer. I don't really care what the artist's intention was or how capably they may or may not have done that. I think you can look, as an audience member, I like the freedom to make whatever I want out of this.
Yeah.
So I can watch a piece of shit film in the right mood and be like, this is amazing and I love what it is by accident. It may be accidentally this, but it is this to me. And
some films I watch just because of who I watched them with the first time I watched them. So when I watched the last summer I had with my dad, we watched at least 10 movies in the theaters, and I think I own all of them just because like they make me feel like I did when I watched them with my dad, which is like, this was crap. Or I know you didn't want to see it, but Angelina Jolie's pretty. So that's why we're seeing it. I'm like,
that's the never-ending story for me. Like the never-ending story was like my movie with my sisters as a kid, and then I hadn't seen it for years. And my best friend Ryan Reynolds came into my life, and she was all about the never-ending story. And we watched it together when we were in college, and then it was our thing. And so never-ending story is like I can just hear like pieces of the music, and I'm like, oh my god, I love you, never-ending.
Love it.
Betray you.
Oh my god, that was a good question. That's a really
we got fucking on that shit.
That was a great question.
Good job, Harrison,
that was great.
Or not Harrison.
Yeah, good question, Harrison.
Now, just because it starts in the exact same way, I'm going to read Clarence's question, which starts
Clarence
just as Harrison. A couple of years ago, everything happened a couple of years ago. Nothing has happened since then in anyone's lives. Everything was just a couple of years ago.
I don't even know where I am right now.
A couple of years ago, while I was walking through the aisles of Hastings, I remember those, out of nowhere, a random blow-up ball flew across the ceiling of the store and hit me right in the head. Luckily, no one was around to see my forehead getting raped by that stupid ball. Well, that sounds like an intense. Sounds like they did more than just hit you in the head.
Well, you know what, Clarence? I've met you. You've clearly worked through it. Good on you.
Good on you. Keep soldier through it. Has there ever been some kind of weird random encounter that has happened to you guys in public like that?
Like,
that is kind of random, just like a ball coming out of nowhere in a bookstore and suddenly, bam!
I thought Hastings was a combination like CD music store.
That's true, but still, what the fuck's a beach ball doing there?
I know. You go. Okay.
Yes, the answer is absolutely yes, but it tends to happen mostly when I'm with a friend of mine, Savannah. I don't know what that is, but it seems like every time we're together, it's not just her and it's not just me. It's the combination of the two of us together. I mean, like, seriously, this was a beautiful moment. We were walking just randomly through this little park trail, happy day, it's sunny outside, and all of a sudden this, like, swarm of yellow butterflies circled us. I don't know where they came from. Like, we hadn't even seen any butterflies.
That's a very anime
moment.
Like, that's...
Yeah, it really happened. I'm not making this up, okay? And we might have been high, but it was... I'm just kidding.
On life. Exactly. All those butterflies around.
But it was totally random, but it was like the opposite side of random. It was that, like, amazing, beautiful... How is this actually happening right now?
You look and there's a fucking unicorn in the clearing, like,
and
just
a
up
rainbow
ahead.
right above. It's like, oh my gosh, it was really amazing.
I'm about to die.
Random things like that. Just the other day, we went to a yoga class, and we went to Central Market afterwards because it was right down the street, and there was this shopping cart with groceries in it that suddenly we're standing by our car, and all of a sudden there's this grocery cart just rolling down the parking lot with no owner. Just grocery basket, groceries.
This is for you, Kristi.
I've never seen, and she was quick though. She went running after it and caught it. Me, I just stood there looking dumbfounded, like, that's interesting.
I like to watch things. I'm like, let's see what happens.
Where's its human?
Where's its keeper? Where's its person?
Odd.
That's funny.
Well, I'm a strangeness attractor, but I'm also a bit of Murphy's Law, like tolerant. It's just like, what else? What's going to happen today? But I think the first thing that came to mind was I was walking around a store, and it was during my I hate all children phase. Like, even like friends are like, oh hey, me and blah 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 are having a baby. Well, it was nice knowing you. Like that kind of
have a nice life.
hardcore. I hate
Call us in
babies
25 years.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I
know.
I hate all babies, but during my hate all babies and children, I love some kids now. Like, you have a cool kid, and it makes up for all these douchebag kids. That's where I'm at now. Like, the friends that have cool kids are like, you needed to be a mom. Thank you for having smart kids. But I was walking around Macy's, just kind of surfing, and this kid comes out of nowhere with no adult, doesn't say anything, comes up behind me and bites my hand. Fucking bites
like, great,
me.
I'm a werewolf now.
Seriously, like, I honestly thought, like, he just... and then let's go and runs off. Like, that was why he was at that Macy's that day, was to bite.
Where was his human?
I don't know. Like, I like when like,
who was watching that kid? Like, seriously,
he just disappeared into clothes or something. You know, like kids at, you know, like their mom shopping, so they're gonna hide like in this like clearance rack of dresses
and like talk as if they're the dresses. Pick me, pick me.
He was actually a pixie. And
that would explain some shit that's happened since then, because it rains every time I get really upset. Actually, that's not true. There would always be rain here. But
it's been rather wet lately.
But no, he bit the side of my hand, like, just, so it wasn't like fingers, it was just ow, and just and he just walked away, and no one was around. So I can't even tell anyone what just happened. And so I told my mom, she's like, that sounds fake. I'm like, you sound fake. This happened. This
didn't happen
to me.
Stop trying to get attention.
I got bit by a child randomly. But many things have happened, but the random, I don't know.
That's a good one.
Oh my God.
I
don't know why. My life is filled with random shit like that, because I seem to just be like the improbability engine. But for some reason, you telling the story about the child in the store makes me think of this really interesting coincidence that happened several years ago now. Joshua, my partner, was telling me the story about being very little, like 3 or 4, and in a Home Depot or a Lowe's or like some hardware store where they sell toilets. Okay, you can see where this is going, and really had to poop. And couldn't hold it anymore, so, you know, they told him to go find a bathroom big enough to go there himself, and so he walks down this aisle and sees just toilets everywhere. You know, so he sits on one and does his business. And, of course, then his grandmother, who he was with, sees him and goes, oh, my God, and they run out of the store. Like, they just, we gotta go. Huh? Yeah. So, and he's telling me this story, incidentally, while we are in a Home Depot, looking for a new toilet. And he's telling me this story, and I'm like, that's really funny. I mean, like, I've heard a lot of kids have done that. I mean, that's got to happen all the time, right? But I never, whatever. And then it just so happens the first toilet we go to in this aisle to look at, I lift up, and someone has shat in it. And I'm like, what are the fucking chances? Like, you just, well, it was really funny.
Same toilet.
No, it was fresh. It was fresh. Believe me, it was fresh. But it made me think to myself, I'm like, were you really 4 when this happened, or did this just happen like a couple of minutes ago? But that was random. Like, being told about shitting in a toilet, a display toilet in public, and then finding a toilet that someone has just done that in literally 2 minutes later. That was random as hell.
Like, oh, beauty can be pain. Like, I mean, pain can be beauty. Like, switch that. Like, it's kind of gross, but that's an amazing story. I really like that happened to you.
Well, it's
it makes me really happy.
I'm going to continue dating you simply for the stories.
Oh my God! Actually, you know what? Here's
You know
We've all had that.
This makes me think of another very recent one. Last year when Josh and I were in Toronto for the first time for a convention. Lovely convention. I had a great time, but they took us all to Niagara Falls. I have never been before.
I want to go so bad.
And he had never been before. Now, before we left for this trip, he collects antique cameras. And he had just won on eBay an auction for like a bunch of antique cameras in bulk. And so he won them before we left for the trip. And when we came back from the trip, the boxes were waiting for us. Now, bear that in mind. While we were in Toronto, as I said, they took us to Niagara Falls, and Joshua just went crazy with his camera taking pictures of everything, because of course, it's fucking just breathtaking. Being there on the Canadian side. Mm-hmm. And, we got these pictures. We hung out there for hours, all of us, and it was really a lot of fun. We got back home, and of course, he's taking these pictures on his digital camera, so he puts them up online and or on his computer, and like a lot of them came out just splendidly. He then digs through the antique cameras that came while we were in Toronto and finds that one of them still has some film in it. Well, he has a darkroom, so he thought, I love this. I'm going to develop them and see what I come up with. I mean, it's been a long time.
Solve a murder, maybe.
So exactly. So he develops them. No shit. The only roll that anything comes out on, there are pictures of someone's vacation to Niagara Falls from the 70s. And I mean, it's.
I like that story.
And some of them look remarkably like they were taken from some. He posted them online because I was like, oh my God. There were at least 2 or 3 pictures, I believe, that looked like the person was standing in the same fucking spot Joshua was to take the shots. Which that's not so unusual because there are key spots all over the falls. But the fact that, we're like, okay, we just got back from Niagara Falls and we now have a camera with like the only salvageable film in it.
Camera.
It was really weird. So we're like, I want to see, is there like a picture of us in there with like holding up a message for us? Like we've somehow gotten back in time. I mean, like it was.
See the doctor. There you go.
That's one of my favorite random shit.
Okay, I've got one more. I'll make it fast, Terry. But this, I don't know why that reminded me of this, but it going back in the past and that sort of thing. It's not really that profound, but we recently moved into a new house, right? And I'm not really a huge fan of spiders. I don't hate them, but they're not my favorites. And I was going to take a bath, which I love doing, and there was this giant black spider in the bathtub. And so I was like, okay, well, it's a bathtub. I'll just get a cup and flush the spider. And I did, and he went down the drain, bye-bye, and I plugged the hole, and I started the water, and I walked out to get, like, my green tea or something, and I came back, and the bathtub was half full, and that black spider was floating on top of the water. I was like, go spider! Random, he traveled in time to come back to my
Goodman
bath.
Kicked the door open.
Anyway, like I said, not very profound, but
no,
true story.
You don't know. You might have found a super spider.
I couldn't take a bath.
Or that was that spider's like beloved.
Oh, now it's sad.
Oh, you mean okay? It made me think of one more. It's not like it's not a self like coincidence, but it was funny. Like it's kind of sad. But like it's sad because this happened at my dad's wake, and everyone was telling their stories about like Doty did this, Doty did that, and there's this woman that my father hated. Her name was Princess. Bitch already. Wow. But she was there. And she was talking about how my dad was giving her a hard time, and how he was so stubborn, but like he was always telling these really funny jokes. And she kind of did like a little jab, like, "Oh, Doty, blah blah blah." And at that moment, her chair caved in, and she fell and hurt herself kind of hard. But when she when she got over she went, "Damn it, Doty!" like that. Like it made me laugh really.
That's fucking funny.
Suck on that, princess.
Oh, another good question.
Okay, this is from Zoe.
Your dog?
No, this doesn't have a Y.
Okay, I was like, that'd be awesome if it was from your dog. It's always a great name, whoever that is, by the way. Okay.
She's asked a couple questions before. Let me see. You may have heard of some strange trends of the present generation. Uggs, albeit comfy, are one of those trends, in my opinion. What are the strangest trends that you have endured or possibly got sucked into in school? Any fashion trends, music, TV shows, movie, games, bets, pranks, etc. in any grade from K through 12 would suffice. This is where, like, you're like, do I admit that?
Embarrassing
I remember the platform sneakers. Do you remember those? Like the Spice Girl, like thick platform sneakers.
Oh, I totally had some of those.
I had those,
Yeah,
but like being like 5'11", I definitely shouldn't have been fucking wearing them.
I think I remember you in those.
I love them. Or no, those big
taller.
Hot Topic boots. Those really high military thick platform boots. That was so stupid. That was so fucking stupid. And they went with nothing.
I was very old school goth in high school. Shut the fuck up, Terry. Shut the fuck up.
The time you tried to dye your hair like
shut up,
red, and you dyed it like Jamie Markey red.
It was a horrible red for my complexion, but I didn't know.
I did red bad for my complexion.
But no, I was really into the goth thing. Like for what's known as the pre-Hot Topic goth stuff. Like we had to, all our shit was like we were the hardcore goths. We listened to Bauhaus and like Gary Newman and
Bauhaus when they realized they're like, oh, we did that as a joke. Let's keep fucking.
All right, well, hey, it pays the bills. So
Bela Lugosi's still dead.
But I remember being really into Garbage Pail Kids. Do you remember the? No, you don't.
No, I don't. Steven like
remember those.
Like
I remember the age difference, but like
guys.
Garbage Pail Kids were like all the rage when I was probably in 4th grade. It's like they were making fun of Cabbage Patch Kids, and they were nothing more than collectible cards.
Well, there's a movie.
There's a movie, and it's
Steven tried to make me watch.
It's terrible.
Going back to that question, Harrison.
But the movie is based on the franchise rather than because it came out many years later. But there were Garbage Pail Kids, which every kid in school was crazy about collecting these cards because they had hundreds of them, and they were all just really disgusting children that did horrible things. Like this one's Pixit, and
there was a terry cloth, and his face was on a terry cloth towel.
Yeah, it was really. We were hit before hipsters were a thing because we were making fun of Garbage Pail of Cabbage Patch Kids. Rather,
every generation has someone that's making fun.
Mad Balls. I wonder if Steven remembers Mad Balls. Everyone was crazy about those. They were little like cush balls with disgusting faces on them. And they were all the fucking rage, and I used to collect the shit out of them.
Do you remember Pogs?
Pogs. I was not a kid
Pogs.
anymore when Pogs came up, but I remember them. I had friends.
There's
with
enough
kids.
of an age difference that I guess a lot of trends are different.
But Pogs,
you guys and
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, of course, were really big when I was fresh out of high school, and so my friends' kids were really into them.
I was not so much into them.
I was.
And they were everywhere.
I was until like they changed up people, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm not gonna start a new batch of people with them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there's all sorts of trends. I mean, you get kind of sucked into stuff, but I think that the biggest ones, jams. I remember wearing jams.
Jams.
They were when I was in like third, fourth, fifth grade, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
They were these kind of long surfer shorts that were really
that,
popular,
and
they were called jams, and they were like drawstring shorts.
Oh, I wanted some Jinkos so bad, and my mom said,
made all the guys have like Gumby
for those
legs, like they were so like parachute pants. So
Parachute pants, yeah.
pants.
I had to get the
Jelly.
off-brand, and I felt like I was such a loser because my pants didn't say Jinko on them.
They had to have that big stitched Jinko on the back pocket or on the side.
By the time my friend Alice gave me the hand-me-downs, it was too late.
You're like, no, it
was over.
There is no Jinko anymore. I don't know if there is. Or jellies. I remember jellies.
Oh, I remember jellies.
Shoes. I really liked those. I felt like a beautiful princess wearing those.
The blossom hat. I had the blossom hat.
Oh God, the blossom hat.
I didn't have to do my hair. I'm like, Colonel, just
see. You had Blossom. We had Punky Brewster.
Yeah, Soleil Moon Fry. Soleil Moon. That's her name.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew her real name. It's fucking crazy.
Well, she's a big hippie. So
no.
Name like Soleil.
Let's see.
I got really into Polly Pockets.
Polly
Do you remember
Pocket!
those?
Yes!
They had this one that was like a
Pockets.
fairy castle, and it had this like lake with swans, and you could like drive the carriage around the lake, and they were all little miniature. People actually called me Polly Pocket for a long time.
You just made me think of something else by saying Polly Pocket. Trolls. Remember Trolls?
Yeah, I
Treasure
remember
Trolls?
them. They always creeped me out,
Treasure
though.
Trolls? I love Treasure
afraid of
Trolls.
I had a
them.
giant one.
But I do remember when they were just called Trolls. They weren't called Treasure Trolls
Yeah.
until much later. They were just Trolls.
Yeah,
I remember
I remember
that.
the
them as
Trolls.
Well, now they're called Treasure
Furbies.
Trolls, but
You remember when Furbies first
I remember
became
like
their
Furbies
thing?
in like
Furbies.
freshman year. I remember
Yeah.
Furby. As far as TV, Buffy, of course, but
yeah, Buffy was later for me though. Or TV, if we're talking about like being a kid stuff, I was really into.
well, Buffy like started in 97.
Rainbow
Yeah.
Bright.
You.
Right here. That was me. I was all about Rainbow Bright.
I was all about Thundercats. I was all about the
Thundercats,
Thundercats.
nice.
And
You and Steven.
Thundercats, Silverhawks, He-Man, what else was there? Oh, Scooby-Doo. I fucking loved Scooby-Doo. Everything Scooby-Doo. I was obsessed with that show. I loved it. I wanted a dog. I wanted to name him Scooby. I wanted to be every bad guy from that show because I thought all the villains were really cool. Like, oh my god, they wear these great outfits and they go around scaring the shit out of people.
Villains always have better outfits.
That's true.
They do.
Tailspin.
Oh my gosh, Tailspin!
DuckTales.
And DuckTales, yeah!
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Holy shit,
Woo!
DuckTales.
Chip and Dale.
Rescue Rangers. I want to go as Gadget for Halloween. That would be awesome.
Oh, Inspector Gadget. Oh, I didn't think of Inspector Gadget. I used to love Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Now we're going to like spend
Okay.
the rest of this hour like going down memory lane.
Good
I
time.
think it might be time to skip to
Some
Joel
Joel
McDonald
questions.
Joel McDonald questions. he's
I love these guys. I don't know which
I was
one to
actually
pick.
drinking hot tea when he sent me them yesterday, and that was a mistake.
Okay, so from Joel McDonald to Kristi, as a yoga instructor, what's the most fun voice you've ever gotten to use? As a voice actor, what's the weirdest place you've ever been farted on?
Difficult shit right here.
This is tough. I mean,
Hard-hitting questions.
you know, I think probably voice acting is the least in my life that I've been farted on. I mean, everywhere else is just full of farts, so I don't even know how to answer that question. Like home, yoga. I mean, there's farts everywhere.
I think he means like what part of your body have you been farted on by someone else, and what's the weirdest place?
When you're like correcting
the
their
place in my
posture.
body.
I mean, maybe not. But that's how I read that.
No, you don't say it.
You know, I honestly like. Joey might not like me for saying this, but he's probably the only one who's actually ever farted on me, and that's usually intentional. Or Delta, my dog, he farts on me too. But typically in class, it's just kind of like something you hear like from the other side of the room, and a few people laugh. And one time there was this dude who I'm pretty sure he was on something because he literally laughed for like 10 minutes after this guy. Well, I mean, it was a very major fart. It wasn't a little. It wasn't.
I
a
have
joke.
never
It
been
was-
with you and had
it was
like
for real.
it's very quiet in there.
Yeah, we don't play music or anything,
No.
so I mean, you hear stuff like that. But yeah, there was a mountain of a fart that really volcano of a fart. It was intense. But on my
fanfare, if you
body,
will.
I mean, I probably I don't care that much to. I mean, you can fart on me, like that's fine.
If you ever go to a convention, you have no one but yourself to blame.
Yeah. People are going to start farting on you now. They're going to start calling it blomping.
Plumping.
Oh, it's Levy from Fairy Tale.
She likes being farted on, or she doesn't mind it, and that means the same thing.
Okay, another Joel McDonald question.
So fucking random. Yeah, you take that one. Yes.
The last one?
No.
Okay. Most people know you for your touching folk song about pooping your pants in an amusement park.
True
I know
story.
I do. First, actually, that's how we met. She was doing an open mic at the coffee shop.
A little too open.
Yeah,
Sounds like.
yeah. Do you have any advice for someone, maybe Joel, who would also like to poop himself in public places?
I would absolutely recommend wearing pads, not diapers, because diapers they can squish out the sides, you know. But if you wear a pad, I mean, it's pretty good about catching everything, so not a big mess to clean up. I will say, don't do that in the bathtub. I've also had experience with that, and it's not really very
It was
pleasurable.
not a spider.
It was not a spider. Forgive me, okay, I have some bowel issues. I can't control it sometimes. It is what it is. I might as well just joke about it.
Wow. Oh my god. That happened. That really happened. Shall we do the last one?
Sure.
Okay. Kristi Kang, could you converse concerning king crabs killing coral? Kindly consider coastal communities.
Okay.
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 That's all I can say about that.
She's actually speaking coral right now.
You didn't understand that? Oh.
I'm speaking coral. How am I doing? Am I getting the diction right?
You know, you've got a little bit of an accent, but we'll work on it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's
it's a
okay.
problem with me.
We'll straighten it out.
All right.
All right. Well,
Thank you, Joel. You insufferable prig.
Lightning round questions, meaning questions that we'll attempt to answer.
I love
quickly.
Joel. Let me just say I love Joel McDonald, everyone.
We know, baby.
He's going to listen to this.
Baby,
He doesn't listen to the show.
Yes, he does.
No,
By the way, Joel, I need you to
Really?
build me a chicken coop. Just saying.
Okay. This is from Jackson. What is your most memorable weird food combination, good or bad?
I have no lightning.
I'll start it if you can
Go.
think about it. Okay, eating a pickle and an apple together.
Ew.
Like you alternate between bites. You take a bite of apple, swallow it, then you take a bite of pickle.
Well, how's that a combo?
Huh? Well, no, the
That's
combination of them,
oh.
the combination of them together, like
Together.
eating them alternately, like that makes the pickle really, really sour, and the pickle and the apple really, really sweet. Love that. Also, if you want a real combination, sugar cookies and cheese whiz.
Oh.
It tasted delightful the one time I tried it. I've never tried it since, but
You've wizened.
I've wizened.
Please? Wizened up. No, I was so taken aback, but that is such a... Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's disgusting, but I think I may have been pregnant at the time. So I don't know.
With emotion?
Well, after that, a rather substantial food baby.
I hate food babies. I hate all babies. No, I'm kidding. Not just most of them.
Well, it's funny. A food baby will go wild at Home Depot and shit people in inappropriate places.
And he will have wizened to it. Fuck you, it's late. It's Saturday. My vocabulary...
It's late?
It's late.
Did you say it's late?
It's like...
The sun is still out,
like
and we're not
5
in
o'clock
fucking
on Saturday. It's
Alaska.
Late.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck you, I gotta go home and work.
Shut up.
My day's just starting.
Let me remind everyone I used to be a fat kid. But tortilla chips and French onion dip.
That's
not weird.
Delicious.
That's
That's
not
weird to
weird.
me.
It's not weird.
Yeah,
That's weird to me.
That's
like
pretty normal.
That's like in the white trash cookbook, page 1. That's like
Well, then
everybody's
I
tried
clearly
that.
am not white trash, sir, because I found that odd.
That's exotic and strange.
I didn't.
French
Okay,
onion
it didn't
dip.
say fucking exotic. It said weird.
If that's weird to you,
That's weird to me.
That's weird to you. You are sheltered.
No, I'm not. But that was weird to me. That was.
I've
disgusting.
had that all the time. My brother used to eat Cheetos and ketchup together, and I tried it. It's disgusting. I hate it. But
Well,
when
that
he was
Cheetos
a
would
kid,
be paired
Cheetos
with anything like that, like a dip.
Yeah, anything. But ketchup in particular. I'm like, you have this really tangy, two very tangy things, but that are very different kinds of tang. Yeah, no. So wait, you've had time to
I don't know.
get some
I mean,
lightning
they're
going?
not that weird. Like, I used to dip French fries in anything. Frosties, barbecue sauce.
French fry with the
doing
Frosty.
fucking
That was pretty
Frosties, yeah.
good. Yeah, chicken
I like
nuggets
my-
with the
I like-
Frosty, too.
I
Pretty
do
much
the
anything
French
dipped
thing.
in
I like
Frosty.
mayo on my fries.
What kind of dipping sauce did you bring, Frosty?
Yeah,
And
I
we
don't
better
really
eat
eat
it quick.
Frosties anymore, but I used to
No,
dip
me
everything
either,
in them,
No,
including my entire face.
I don't consider it.
With joy.
La 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 la. If you were an office supply, scissors, stapler, pen, etc., what would
Who's
you
that
be
from?
and why?
Who's that from?
Oh, Emily.
Emily.
Office supply. What
I
kind
would
of
be
office supply would you be?
a pen, because I like to create stuff.
Stapler. I love staplers.
This is my stapler. You can't have my stapler.
Like
It's
when I
mine.
worked at
Do
Guitar
what you
Center,
think.
like I just kind of ended up collecting all the staplers because they would just go missing from other people. I'm like, well, they're going to go missing, but they'll be with me. So I love staplers. I try to keep my shit together. Maybe sometimes it doesn't work out. There you go. That's my why.
I want to be a pencil.
Pencil.
And I'll tell you why. Because no one uses them anymore.
Oh.
And I want to be a
What are you
pencil.
saying about yourself?
I want to be the pencil sitting in a cup uselessly next to someone's computer in their awful, awful cube farm job. And I want them to look at that pencil every day of their life when they're in front of this job they hate and think back to when they were a child and they used to use a pencil and wonder where it all went wrong. That's my job.
Lightning round. Lightning.
For me, that was lightning.
That was.
For me, that was greased lightning. Are you kidding? Lightning round. Go! Bitch at me. There's still sand in the hourglass.
Sorry, that
sounds
of our
deep.
fucking lives. I'm looking at Twitter.
You're texting?
I'm looking at Twitter, you
She's
twits.
making a phone
Why are you
call.
twitting?
Okay, let me see. Got a question for Miharu from Baka and Tess. That's a character you played. I just want to let you know that.
She's like, did I?
I absolutely, yes.
I did. I was her.
I thought you were her. It was not Tatum.
Might have been me.
Rachel asks, since you've got Miharu, I feel that I need to ask if any of you have a girl crush. That's a fair question.
No.
Yeah.
All the time.
Every day.
Every day. It's
Mostly I get crushes on my yoga teachers because they're just so profound and smart and they just get me when I'm hurting, you know? Yeah. Like in this really intense pose and they're encouraging me. I'm like, oh, wow, you're just gorgeous, aren't you? That's about it.
And then turns into a very awkward sex scene between two straight people. What about you, Tatum?
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you do.
Do you have any girl crushes?
I'm sure you do. You
Sure.
occasionally do, where you're just like, I'm gay, but not that gay.
Yeah, no. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
I would
Jamie.
totally, hit Jamie Markey.
You would hit her?
I hit her.
I
hit her. I hit it. No,
hit
Jamie
that.
Markey, Stephanie Young. There's a very particular type of woman. If a woman is to draw me out of my gay, they have to look. They have to
come out of there.
They have to sort of look. For some reason, I don't know why, but they have to kind of look and act, and just everything about them needs to make me feel like they just stepped off the silver screen circa like 1952.
That's what I was about to say. It's like,
they need to have a Lauren Bacall quality to them, or a something. It's something. And it's just, and it's yeah. That's mine. That's my.
I get
The femme fatale, the classic femme fatale. That's the one that makes me question it and go, you know what? Let's see what all the fuss is about.
Dude, you act like you've never been with a woman. Like,
I have been, and I didn't get what all the fun was. I didn't get what all the fuss was about. I'm like, really?
I think it's just because
Guys
you're
do
gay.
stupid shit for y'all. I don't get it. Oh, there's a hot guy over there. Oh my god, I'm totally gonna frost my hair and learn
Because
a
you're
new language.
gay. You don't go like.
I know, but when I was a kid,
It's like you were
When I was
like the
gay,
most
I was-
horrible women. You're like, you know what? I think I'm done. Like, I'm
Well,
gay
somebody
now.
made a joke to me the other day about, like, I was like, oh, that guy over there kind of cute. And someone's like, oh, but he has a girlfriend. I'm like, that, honey, that just makes my job easier. It was a joke. Not really true. But no, it's there are women. Everyone's a little gay. Every gay man's a little straight.
Oh no, everyone's
story.
a little
Yeah,
gay.
true
Like
story.
There are women that I'd be like, yeah, yes, and they don't look anything like men. It's not like they are a certain kind of woman that just doesn't.
Like when you
for me.
met Alex Kingston, you're like, if she propositioned me.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Alex Kingston.
Beautiful.
Well, okay, like Ryan Reynolds. There's a girl that I would be like, oh my god, okay. I just like, and it's she makes a beautiful
You do have
girl or a boy.
You two have a very
Yes,
cute
she
rapport.
does.
Yeah.
She makes a beautiful either, and I'm like,
See the two of them together. It's so weird.
We're
It's
like
so funny.
You know, we're gonna end up dating at some point. I just have this feeling. I don't know how it's gonna work out. It's like a lesbian dating a gay man, but we totally work. I don't know.
It's like a lesbian
It's an
dating a gay
indie
man.
film waiting to happen.
It's
It
exactly
actually
like
is.
that. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I mean,
and
it'll
going,
be. Shut up.
you fuck him for the story. There you go. Girl crush, Tia Ballard, hands down. She's so opposite me. Like cute little country, very feminine. Not me at all. And she's just adorable. I just want to hug her until she stops breathing.
That sounds like love. Like, shh, it's almost over. It's almost. Shh.
And then bring her back to life with my lips.
Oh, and right
There
now,
you go.
all over the country, there are so many guys out there.
We
that
have to get Tia Ballard and Terri Doty at the same con and make
They're
some
like,
kind
"Oh
of charity
my
thing that they can do.
Yeah, please.
I'd do that.
I would.
Hey, I made out with
that.
Jerry Jewell for charity.
I know.
Would have done it without
Okay.
charity, but you know,
Bitch, I've seen the video.
I
Your
know.
face. You were like red.
I was.
Jerry's very cute.
It was hot. It was hot. Jerry's
Jerry's
adorable,
not my type,
and Jerry
but like
is
when I
totally
talk
my
to
type,
him,
though.
I'm like, hi.
Jerry is totally my type, and he's just one of those guys.
I mean,
like,
I don't really have
kiss
a
me for
type,
charity.
but
All right,
no.
sure. I'm strong enough in my sexuality to kiss another man. Why not? And he'll do it. And I'm like, yeah. No, I mean that
Jerry,
him. Yeah, I'm obviously strong enough in my sexuality to kiss another guy because I'm gay. It's what I do. Jerry Jewell is hot. I'm sorry. I'm not made of stone, people. I'm not made of stone.
Gotta be honest. Got a little girl crush on Kristi. She's adorable.
Well, Terry, I have something I need to tell you.
Oh God. I'm gonna go eat
It's
some
reciprocal.
Triscuits.
Can we make out after this? A
Yeah.
little bit of time.
That's how I say goodbye to all my guests.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's really sweet of you. It's very generous.
Sometimes it's a little weird, but Kristi, I'd be like, oh, I guess I won't hate it.
Not entirely.
Yeah. So there's
Okay,
that.
well, on that note, it's been lovely. I'm going to go before you start tonguing each other. Just doesn't do it for me.
Tonguing each other.
Tonguing each other. Why are you turning the hourglass back over?
So I know how much time that we're wasting of Kristi's free time now that we've gone over.
Oh.
Well,
Thank you for being a guest.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing the fucking amazing chilled dark chocolate ganache.
You are very welcome.
I'm going to have a little more of it before you leave.
Please do.
she's like in her car. Tatum, leave me. Tatum.
I'm going to go get some now. Fuck this. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Mwah.